Hello, you absolute legends. Welcome back to the channel. The birthday boy is here. Happy birthday. He's got his Armstrong Siddeley book. We've got all the Armstrong Siddeley books out. And in this video, we're going to talk about all the things that Dad has done on the Armstrong Siddeley this past week. What an absolute legend. In this video, then we'll take a look, we'll have a look at the car, and maybe Dad will explain some of the bits that he's done. In here, we've got some books that Dad's been using. We've got the maintenance manual for the Armstrong Siddeley, we've got the service manual, and these wonderful books from Penn Bradley. They're sort of technical books. They tell you all the things you need to know about your Armstrong Siddeley. What we've got there as well, a service manual. So come with us, we're about to have a look at the car and see what we've done. Before we head into the garage, this is a box of bits and pieces that Dad's been using and just spares. We'll talk about it in more depth in a minute, but this is some cork. We've made a gasket with the cork. We've got some gearbox oil in there, some engine oil, a fan belt there, lithium grease, dot 4 brake fluid, all sorts of bits and pieces. These are things that we've been using. These are the bits that are left over. Right, to the workshop. We've got the service manual. Bonus 406 content, there it is. And a Nissan note. We're going into the Armstrong Siddeley workshop, and Dad will reveal the Armstrong Siddeley in true sort of NASA Indiana Jones fashion. You know what I mean. Da, da, da. I've got to string this out. Da, da. Faster, please. There she is. It's my 1949 Armstrong Siddeley Lancaster. There's a reason that Dad has to open the door, and it is because we have to sort of creep through here. And, well, I'm a bit too big to get through there, so the last thing I want to do is knock this off. You know what I've done? I've left the list in the kitchen like a wally, so I'm going to go get that, and then you can show us round. Right, I've got the list. A list of all the things that Dad has done. I've split it into sections: engine bay, interior, exterior, and then underneath the car. Dad is going to be on hand to tell us what we've done. And if you haven't seen the video already on the channel about the 49 Armstrong Siddeley, the reason we've done some work is, well, I hadn't really done the work when we bought the car. I've had the car a few years now. We sort of got it on the road. And, yeah, there's bits that I have done, haven't done. I've got my light so I can show you. Under the bonnet a little bit better. It's not going to stick to that. Let's stick it up here, maybe. Is that working? Maybe. Last thing I want was for it to smash onto the car. Oh, there we go. No, it's not going to stick to that because that's aluminium. We'll just hold that somewhere safe. There we go. Right. So let's go through it. What has Dad done since we've had the car here? It's taken him sort of about a week. He's had it about a week. So he's fitted a new distributor because there was the wrong distributor fitted. So let's get the light. Let's have a look. There is the new distributor in there. You can just see it. It's got the old distributor cap. When I bought the car, it had the wrong distributor fitted with the right distributor gubbins. No idea what had gone on, but effectively it was retarding as opposed to advancing. So we bought a new distributor, and Dad's been clever and done some clever things and put the new distributor in with new gubbins. I'm going to get him to explain in a little bit more detail, excuse me, in a little bit more detail, what he's done with the distributor.
Right, what I did with the distributor was, John got another distributor. It got the wrong gear on it, but it was got the correct direction of rotation. So I took the gear off that one and took all the good bits off the distributor we'd got and put it in the new distributor, which wasn't very new. And now it works a treat now, and it's running about 5 degrees advanced static.
There you go, there's some interesting facts about the distributor. Fine, good, tick that off, we've talked about that. You've reset the base setting and the valve clearances. Now that sounds techie. Talk to us about that.
Problem was somebody had set the valve clearances conventionally. That's wrong, because they're hydraulic lifters. You've got to exhaust the lifters, press down the spring, then you set the clearance on the valve clearances to 75 thou. Then when you start it up, the hydraulic lifters will take the slack up. Now she's a lot quieter.
Yeah, the car was running really loud and rattly, and Dad described it as sounding like a bit of a machine gun. When I bought the car, the previous owner sent me a video of the tappets in action, and to me, the untrained ear, that sounded good. And in doing so, you've had to make a new gasket for the rocker cover. How have you done that?
Just got some cork from the local factors. Screwed the rocker cover to the bench, cut round it, and then cut the hole out in the middle.
Have you sealed that new gasket in with anything?
I've stuck it to the rocker cover with some tiger seal.
Tiger seal. So that you probably can or can't see, but it's in there. But you can just see the cork seal sort of here on the rocker cover there. Right, let's tick it off the list so I don't get confused. New rocker cover gasket and turn out the tappets. You flushed the cooling system and added new coolant. This is the radiator, massive radiator, and actually I'll just unscrew this so you can have a look in the cooling reservoir. It takes a lot of water. How much water does it take?
11 litres, I think it was.
It was something like 2 gallons. So that's all been flushed out in there. Was that a big job?
No, easy peasy.
Easy peasy. What was your reasoning for doing that?
Because she's been running a bit hot, so we thought I'd better flush the radiator out, see if it'll help her.
Another one we've done, oil and filter change. Real simple one, that. The oil filter is down there. I'll point to it. I don't want to drop my blooming torch. That's the last thing I want to do. It's down here. Someone has changed the mounting here so it can accept a normal, conventional oil filter. It's got a Borgenbeck oil filter in there. Changed, and obviously the oil added. Oil that you've added is a special oil. It's for a classic car, isn't it?
It's classic oil. It ain't got too many detergents in it to stir all the rubbish up and make a mess of it. Because an old engine doesn't want all the dirt taken out of it because it's built up and it'll bugger the tappets up.
There's been a leak here on the. I was talking about the brake fluid reservoir, but we can talk about that. What's that?
It's got one each side of the breathers.
That's the fuel breather, is it? Or
no, the crankcase breathers.
Crankcase breathers. You've taken them off?
Cleaned them out because I've got little filters in there, and just washed them out and resealed them and put them back on again.
Job's a good one with that.
Yeah.
And then the brake fluid reservoir. Tell me about that, which is here.
Yeah. It was leaking at this union, and I've had several goes at it, and it's been a pain, but in the end I finally got it to stop leaking. And
that brake fluid reservoir, it's a metal reservoir, and as Dad said, it's been leaking at that union at the bottom. We could have got a new one. They're like 50 quid for a metal tank. It's the same that also go into a Daimler and Jaguars of the same era. They're pretty much off the shelf. I think they're a Lucas part. And a lot of the things under here are Lucas parts as well, which is standard of the time. So that's a job that was done. And actually, the brake fluid, it was quite low, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's been leaking for a while.
Let's take a look at the list. Oh, and you've replaced the brake fluid.
Yeah, you've got to change the brake fluid.
Front brakes, let's talk about those.
Yeah, they were C-solid, but on the near side, the wheel cylinders were C-solid. The front brake wasn't working at all. So we've just eased the pistons off, and we've got some new seals to fit on it soon. Yeah.
What do you think is the reason that the front brakes had seized on?
Been stood still, and brake fluid's hygroscopic, and it's absorbed moisture, and it's caused everything to rust.
Anything that you would suggest doing differently with regards to that, or is it just a case of one of them things, run it?
Some people change them to silicone brake fluid on these classic cars. You've got to flush everything out, make sure everything's spotlessly clean, then put silicone in because it doesn't absorb water. Is
that something you'd consider, or?
I'm not going to risk it on this, but people say they do it.
A new fan belt, that's been fitted. That's down there. Reason for fitting a new one?
The old one had worn out, been slipping for so long.
And you've replaced, or you've tidied up some wiring to a coil, it says here.
This was all sort of horrible reddy blue wire, so I've covered it in fabric tape and put some shrink tube on the end just to make it look a bit more presentable.
That does look much tidier. And there's still some wiring under here. What's that wiring under here all about?
This one here, this is for those indicators that somebody's fitted. That's what that's for. So flashing indicators.
Yeah, so there's some flashing indicators that's been fitted to the car here, as you can see. They're an aftermarket thing. They shouldn't be in the car. They've been fitted more for a modern safety purpose. Is there anything else you can think of that you've done underneath the engine? Underneath the engine bay, I should say.
Yeah, I put some locking wire on this nut because this nut to the carb's always coming undone.
So that's a carb wire. Tell me more about that.
It's just got the union keeps coming undone and she leaks fuel. So I've tightly put some locking wire around there. So now that wire's trying to pull it tight all the time.
Makes sense. Oh, and you've cleaned the air filter.
Cleaned the old air filter out, yeah.
Which is not a conventional air filter. It's sort of a mesh air filter.
It is, yeah. They call it a pan scrubber.
How does that work?
Well, it's called a pan scrubber because that looks like a pan scrubber. You just clean it out and put oil on it, and the oil helps it catch the bits of dust.
Good. So, engine bay, is there anything left that you want to do before sort of next season? Is there anything pressing under here you think actually that needs to be done?
No.
All done?
Yep, she's all ready to go.
And how long has that sort of taken you?
Too long. Too much of my life.
Too much of your life. Right, let's go on to the next thing, which is the interior. If you remember from the other video, inside was like a modern accessory panel that someone had fitted, and it was attached to the dash. It was made out of brass, and it had all these gubbins in. There was like this Type R rev counter that someone had fitted, sort of a £10 from Amazon job. There was other bits and pieces in here as well in the rubbish. There was what is it you found? A temperature sensor. There was a temperature sensor there, which never worked. It never turned on. I think it's because it probably didn't have any batteries in. And then these sort of flashers to indicate that the indicators were on, and a 12-volt adapter, which again didn't work. It was fitted to the dash, and Dad will show us where it was fitted. I'll get me leaflet, and I'll get me torch, and we can go inside and have a look. I'll go around this side. Don't trip over that wire. Dad's got the battery on charge. Right, let's come in here. Oh, suicide doors, I forgot. Right, okay. So let's have a look in here. So it was fitted under here to this piece of sort of wood and MDF. And actually, is that a piece of blue tack under there?
Yeah, there's some blue tack here.
What's the blue tack doing?
Holds the wires up.
Oh, right. Do we need the blue tack?
No.
Let's get rid of that.
Previous engineer does that.
Right, okay. So you've taken that off there. You can see the kill switch, and there's a fuse box in there. Tell me more about what you've done with the wiring.
The wiring, I've took it all out, and I've took off 2 wires from the relays under there, the flasher things, and now when you use your indicators, instead of having some orange lights, ticks like proper indicators should do.
So you've fitted some relays. Obviously the what's that? That's a trafficator. Is still popping this side. Still having trouble with it on the driver's side. Those relays, where have you fitted them?
There's a fresh air duct, and I've fastened them to that so it makes it loud.
So they are fitted to the indicators. No need for all this nonsense around here now. And actually, the wiring is still good to go, isn't it?
Certainly is.
Did you just do that to mess about? That's good, that is. I'm chuffed with that because I really didn't like having that in there. It was something inside the interior that really didn't fit with the theme. I'm sorry for the bad lighting content, by the way. And it's now gone. You can see under here as well, now this bracket, now that bracket is where a toolkit should have been, and you can see the kill switch. We're going to leave the kill switch in there, but that wiring is now nice and tidy. There's a wire here. What's that wire all about? We don't know, do we?
No idea.
There's a wire to something which we're not going to mess about with because everything's...
It has had washers on sometime, hasn't it?
Yes, it has had washers, so it could be for a motor, do we think, or pump. What is the fuse box, and there's a fuse missing? What's that fuse all about, do we know?
No idea, it's from that previous man. That wire there is the feed from the washer pump.
Oh, is it? That one?
That's what he's used to feed his...
I know there was a radio fitted at one point as well, not a factory radio, so it could be to do with that.
Probably.
Anything else that you've done on the interior?
Yeah, we had a look at the clock.
Oh yeah, here we got, if you haven't seen this, we've got a Smith's mirror clock. Tell me more about the Smith's mirror clock.
Well, we've tried wiring it up, but it doesn't work.
What's your professional opinion of the clock?
Technical term is it's knackered.
It's knackered. I'm not going to worry too much about the clock. Anything else on the interior that you want to tell us about?
Yes, I've hoovered it out.
Oh, well, there you go. Let's have a look at the carpets. It has been retrimmed at some point, the carpets. Do you think?
Yes, it has.
It's been retrimmed, and sadly the original leather seats have been removed. They were completely knackered. It's been fitted with this sort of PVC vinyl stuff. I doubt that it was cheap to do, in all honesty. Everything's been done. Is it to my liking? No. Would I have preferred it to have had the leather seats in? Yeah, probably. What's it going to cost me to retrim with leather? I don't know, £5,000?
The car's worth.
More than the car's worth, exactly. Right, let's take a look at what else we've done. Because the interior's looking quite good. It's always been quite nice in here. There's a few little niggles to do. These sun visors on the driver's side, one's a bit loose. It needs tightening up. You can see Dad poking it there. That's something you look at. Also on this car is a sunshine roof. I've never had it open. I'm never going to open it because it's one of the things I think is going to cause us a world of pain. What do you think to the sunshine roof?
Should be welded up.
Right, let's take a look at some more things. Oh, stop playing with that horn. He's like a child. You got my pen there?
Want sunshine, ride a motorbike.
I don't know if you heard that. If you want sunshine, ride a motorbike. Right, externally, last few things. Some screws on a number plate housing. Yeah, the rear number plate has got this sort of housing in here. Just started to rain. Terrible. Has got these sort of screws here. You can see, and actually, it's described as, by Dad, a bit of a mess. And he's right, it is a bit of a mess. It has these sort of screws here, and they protruded. They didn't go in properly. There was some sort of brass washer behind there. Tell us more about what you've done with that.
Well, the fellow was trying to screw a self-tapper into a brass nut and it wouldn't work, so I've removed the brass nut. Now the self-tapper at the bottom there goes into the boot lid.
It's not the most beautiful thing in the world, is it? But it served a purpose. In the future, I want to sort of try and grab myself some number plates that are period correct. These are sort of like, I don't know, acrylic printed. It should obviously have the raised white numbers on a metal number plate. They're quite expensive. They're about £60 to do each. Is it something I'm going to spend £60 on, £100 on in the future? Yeah, maybe, but not at the moment, especially when there's other faults we need to address. And the last couple of things is the pinion oil seal and greasing. Let's go under the car, or let's go as far under the car as possible.
There, mate. That's what really needed doing.
So yeah, this is what really needed doing. If you saw the video of me getting the car out, you will see that it was leaking like devil from that rear pinion seal. You could just see it. There's like that red part there. I'm going to get Dad to show us something because I was getting old for this. Because this was what was removed. Tell us what this is.
It's a leather oil seal, and in 49 years I've never come across a leather seal. I know they did have them, but it's all before my time.
Would you suggest that that is the original seal?
I should think so, mate, yeah.
You wouldn't think that it's been replaced when it was rebuilt in the 70s?
I don't think so.
And it's just failed, I'm assuming?
Just worn out, mate, just worn out.
We've obviously not replaced it with a leather seal. You can get leather seals still, and they're for cars like Land Rovers and bits and pieces. Was it a big job to do?
No. Just tell the people what we're doing.
Tell the people.
Tell the people what we did. So we've got under there. That's it.
Well, it's under there, yeah.
Yeah, disconnect the prop shaft UJ from that. Hold the prop shaft up in the air. We marked everything so we knew where it went back together, so there was no problems with vibration. Then I marked the nuts so I know where it wants to be, because it's a collapsible spacer in there and I don't want to over tighten the nut. So I took the nut off and I pulled the pinion off with a puller. I marked its position, took the seal out, cleaned it all up, put the new seal in. Then I put the pinion back in the correct place. Then I put the nut back on, and when I wound the nut on, I took it back to the marks where it came from.
Okay.
If I tighten it too far, it could crush the spacer up and upset the settings of the diff. Put the split pin back in, put the UJ back on, cleaned it all off. Job's a good one.
And roughly how long did that take?
It's about 3 hours on my back and going for a cup of tea and a fag. And
Oh, right, let's have a look under here then, because
no rush.
Dad's given us a good explanation, but I want to just show you because it's difficult. You can see under there. Oh, Oh, I've lost my light. You can see under there the diff and that area where that sort of red marking is on there. That is where Dad has done all that work. Right, let's come out from under here. Oh my goodness! I don't know how Dad's done this because he's in his 60s and I'm in my 30s and I'm too fat and old to get under there. And that's pretty much it, isn't it? You've given it a jolly good greasing everywhere.
Yeah, give everything a good greasing.
What's left to do?
We need to put some new seals in them front wheel cylinders, mate.
Yep.
And in the future, next year, she's going to need new rear brake shoes.
Cool. Enjoyed doing it?
I've got a bit fed up with it because it's 2 steps forward and 1 back all the time.
If it was your car and it was your tinkering mobile, what would you be doing next? What would you be doing?
What would I do? What would I do if I was tinkering? Ooh.
Front grille?
No, I don't worry about that. It's part of its life, that is. No. Can't think of anything that wants doing. You've forgot something important, but you can't see it.
Oh yes, I have forgot something
I couldn't
important.
bleed the brakes.
You're right. Yes, the brake system couldn't be bled, and it's really difficult to see. But Dad has made up a new brake hose. Let's get under here. Let's all get under the car. Can we? Oh, smack
So
your
one of
head.
these hoses here. Which is the new one? I can't see.
That one.
The new one.
That's it. That's your new one.
Not a new one.
Yeah, looks it.
Doesn't look like it to me.
Oh. Anyway, it's got a new brake hose under there.
But it's not. It's the hose that comes from the reservoir to the master cylinder, and it was blocked, so I couldn't get any brake fluid out of the brakes.
There it is. You can see it now.
Oh, no.
Is it under there?
You ain't got it yet.
It's very difficult to get my phone under there. There you are.
Here it is.
It's there, look.
It's that one.
Yeah. Oh, I see it. Yeah.
This one, look.
Yeah.
TFM's made that up for me. It's not a pressure hose. It's just feeding hose from the reservoir at the top there was looking at to the master cylinder.
And how much was that?
£25.
25 quid for a new hose.
It's got special unions on.
Yeah. So busy, and it's been hot, and obviously. Again, we've done other bits. I've got oily now. And Dad's done other bits and pieces
In my world.
in the process. So actually, tomorrow, which is a Saturday, I'm taking this to our local sort of vintage show in the park, and then on Sunday, with the best will in the world, we'll be attending the Festival of the Dead. And if you are going to that, I hope you have a great time, and I might see you there. I suppose we've got to say a big thanks, really, to Dad for all his hard work. Big thumbs up for Dad.
Carry on with the classic cars, people.
Carry on with the classic cars, people. I need that on a T-shirt, I think. Loads of stuff to do. If you've enjoyed the video and you want to give Dad a thumbs up, because he doesn't do it for free, but he does, then give the video a like and a subscribe.
Worst paid job in the world.
Worst paid job in the world. Then give the video a like and a subscribe. I'm about to have one of my biggest, in inverted commas, months on YouTube. Thanks to everybody that has been involved so far and in the future. Yeah, loads more stuff coming up. We've got some Proton stuff on the way. What else have we got to do? There's loads of stuff. What else have you got left to do on the fleet? Don't show everyone your address, though. What else have we got left to do? What's that?
Near side bottom ball joint.
Oh yes. He's got Peugeot stuff to do. Near side bottom ball joint on a Peugeot 406. There it is. That's the next job. Terrible out here. I'm going to close this door. Right. And what's that?
Smart car spring.
Oh yeah, front springs for a smart car. Enjoying his retirement. Right, have a great day. Take care. Thanks for watching. More to come. Goodbye.